Hello, welcome to the Robotics for Kids tutorial. My name is Emerike Adaeze. I'm a STEM education facilitator and I'll be your guide through this video. Hello guys, welcome to this session. How are you all doing today? And how are you getting along with the programming lessons so far? Today I'll be teaching you something new, how to include a message or a note in your games. It could be a welcome message, or it could be a message if your game has levels. It could be a message to direct the player to the next level, or it could be a message for when you win or when you lose the game. So I'll be writing a simple program, I'll be coding a simple game, and at the end I'll include two messages for the occasion where the player wins and when the player loses. Okay, so I'll take out the sprites and select the appropriate sprites for the game. It's a pawn game, so I'll be taking a ball, a paddle, and a line. Alright, and this is the arrangement. The line will be here at the bottom, then I'll have the paddle here next to the line and the ball on top. So the idea is for the ball to bounce randomly in different directions, and the player will use the paddle to control the ball so as not to allow it fall below this mark. The ball is not supposed to get to where the red line is. That's the essence of the paddle. You move this paddle either to the right or to the left so that if the ball is falling down, you will use the paddle to hit it so it bounces off again. If this ball gets past this mark and touches the red line, then you've lost the game. So first we'll code the movement of the ball. The code for the ball will be when flag is clicked. We will want it to turn 15 degrees. No matter how it is positioned, it should just turn 15 degrees. We'll want it to take 10 steps after it has turned, and if it is on the edge, we'll like for it to bounce. We will have a control structure for this particular movement for it to move 10 steps, and if it is on the edge, it should bounce. Turning 15 degrees should only happen once. Immediately the flag is clicked, just to position the ball in a direction where it can move and bounce off. So let's try this code and see. Okay, so we have the ball moving now, bouncing randomly. If the ball is too slow for you, you can increase its speed by increasing the number of steps. So I'll change this value to 15. Let's try it again. And now it's faster. Okay, so now the idea is to move this paddle so it blocks the ball from falling off like this. Here. Now we're going to write a code for the paddle to give it directions on how it is going to move so that the player can block the ball from falling below. Now the ball is moving at will freely. The paddle will be controlled, and that will be done by the player. So for when flag is clicked, you can use the two methods I suggested in the previous game, either using the mouse pointer or using your arrow keys. Now the movement for the paddle will be on the x-axis. That means the paddle can only go left, it can only move left or right. It can't go upwards, it can't come downwards. Its movement is just on the x-axis. And since this movement is limited to just the x-axis, the easiest way to do is just to use your mouse cursor, as it is even faster. You can use your arrow keys, but the limitation with the arrow keys is that it may not be as fast as your cursor. Your cursor can move very easily, but your arrow keys might take a while for you to get it to move as fast as you want, except if you want to increase the speed, and then if you can play with that, you can control it as well. So for when flag is clicked, I'll be using the mouse, the cursor. For when flag is clicked, I would want the paddle set its motion X to mouse X. Okay, so I know this is a bit different from the method or the instruction I gave in the video for the cat and mouse game. That one, in that video, the mouse was supposed to move at all directions. That means the cursor can go wherever it likes and the mouse will follow it. But in this case, this paddle can only go towards the right and towards the left. That is why I'm using this code set X to mouse X. It should only set this paddle to the movement of the mouse towards the X axis, that is to the left or to the right. So we'll add a control structure that for as long as the game is playing, this paddle, its movement should be controlled by the movement of the cursor to the left or to the right. So let's try this again. Okay, so you see, wherever I move my cursor, that's where the paddle moves to. So now the next thing to do is to create a case where the ball comes in contact with the paddle. So for when flag is clicked, if we'll go to sensing. Now remember that this code is for the ball. So when flag is clicked, if the ball is touching the paddle, then we want it to turn to a random position. So we'll set a range. I would set a range for 170 degrees to 190 degrees. So I would want it to move 10 steps in that direction. Should wait 0.4 seconds. And this instruction should be repeated anytime the ball comes in contact with the paddle. So what will happen now is that if the ball is touching the paddle, it will veer off in any degree within the range of 170 to 190, move a certain number of steps. If it comes to the edge, it will hit the edge and bounce back, and it repeats the same cycle for every time it touches the paddle. So now let's try this. Okay, so did you see that? So the job of the paddle, yes, is exactly to do that. Okay, so that's good now. And the next case will be for when we are not able, or the player is not able to get to the ball on time and it falls below this mark to the red line. We will want that to signify that the person lost the game. So we'll come to the red line. The code would be to set the red line at a particular or a specific location, and that is exactly where the red line is now. So if you look here, you see that the location has been specified. On the x-axis it's at 0, and on the y-axis it's at minus 168. So we'll go to motion, and when flag is clicked, we want this line to go to this position. That is exactly where it is. The numbers are already corresponding. X-axis 0 and y-axis minus 168. So that basically is the code for the line. So we'll now go back to the ball. For a case where the ball touches the red line. So when flag is clicked, we'll pick our if statement. If the ball is touching the line, we want all scripts to stop, and this code should always happen for whenever you play the game. Okay, let's check this out. Yeah, exactly. You see, everything stops, including even the movement of the paddle. So for every time the ball touches the red line, the game would abruptly stop. Now you will notice that there will be a little difficulty for the ball to get past this red line and come up again, because of this script that says when it comes in contact with the red line, it should stop. Let me show you what I mean. You see the movement to take a while for the ball to get up on its own and eventually go off. So for that, we're going to write the code that at the beginning of the game, that is when flag is clicked, we want every sprite to be positioned at a certain location. We want to see the ball exactly here on top of this paddle, and we want to see the paddle at this exact position, just right below the ball. This will be the starting arrangement of the game. So for the ball, we'll go back to this code. If you look down here, you'll see that this location of the ball has already been depicted here. On the x-axis it's at 5, and on the y is minus 113. So we'll just go to this motion and select go to this exact location here. So the first thing that would happen whenever we click this flag is for this ball to come to this exact location, and from here the game begins. And for the paddle, we'll do the same. You see the value has changed to the location of the paddle, so we'll say go to this location. And because the mouse, this cursor controls the paddle, we'll ask the paddle to wait a little, just very small amount of time, 0.3 seconds actually, or 0.4. I mean, that doesn't really matter, so as for the ball to go off before the cursor takes over the movement of the paddle. Now let's try this and see. Okay, we have noticed that it took a while for the paddle to, okay, now this has worked. Let's try the scenario and see if all of this will come back to its original position before the game starts. So let's click on the flag. Okay, did you see that it started at exactly the position where we wrote the code for it to be at? Okay, perfect. So now the next thing to do is to create the score variable, to give it, to get a value or certain amount of points for whenever you successfully avoid the ball falling through. So we'll come to our variables, create make my variable, create a variable for points. Okay, so when the flag is clicked, I want points to be initialized to 0, and set this here. And when the ball comes in contact with the paddle, I want points to be changed by 1. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, did you see that? The score 2, 3, okay, 4, 5. Yeah, so I just let it fall through. Oh, 6. Okay, let's allow it fall through. Yeah. What again should we do? Okay, we have it all sorted out. The game is working fine, the speed is okay, all the sprites are moving as we want them, and now there's a value. Okay, so now let's just progress to the aspect where you add the message. There are 2 ways you can do that. You can either create a sprite for it, or you create a backdrop for it. Now, whether you're creating a sprite or a backdrop, as the case may be, there are still 2 ways you can do that. You can either paint the sprite yourself, that's create it here, or you upload something you already have in your computer. Over here you can see this game over sprite, you can see you've won, you can see some other backgrounds I have here for the game. So let me do cancel. I'll be using the 2 cases, the 2 scenarios, or the 2 methods, and I'll show you how to link them up. So for you win, I will be painting a sprite for you win. Okay, so first you click on this rectangle, and here you hold, you click on this, please hold, then drag. Okay. So whatever you do here is going to be replicated on the screen, so as for you to see exactly what you're doing and how it fits on the screen. So you can adjust this, it adjusts on your screen, adjust it again, it adjusts again, just until you get the perfect fit for what you want. Okay, so I think this is covering every part of it. Okay, so now I have all part of my screen covered. Then I'll come over to text, I'll double click on this surface, and I'll type in U1. Don't worry, I'll change the font color so you can see what exactly I'm typing in. So I'll highlight this and come over to fill, select this color, yeah, so that it will be distinct from the color of the background. So I'll drag this to expand, and I'll adjust it to the part of the screen where I want it to be. Okay, I think this is fine. Yeah, that's great. I would further edit this. Let's go back to the rectangle. Let's go to fill, sorry. Okay, what design would I like to use? Let me try this. Select 2 colors, select here, and for this one let me select here, and for this let me select this. No, that does not look fine. Let me try again. Select this, and for this sure. Okay, let's see how this applies. I still know what I want totally. Okay, let's try blue, a dark blue and the lighter blue. I think this is better. Let's try this. I'll swap the colors. Okay, I think this is better for me. Then I'll come over to the text, and for the text I would like to change its color too. And come to fill. I'll go for yellow. Okay, so this is how it will look. Let me see if I can change this. How about like this? Let me just go with yellow, only yellow. Perfect. So I'll leave the font as yellow. So this is what my message will look like. I can as well change the font style. You come over here, select whichever suits you. I don't think there's any better. Okay, this. Alright, this is cool. Adjust this again. And you come over here and name the sprites. Let's call it win message. So the message for when you've won the game. So here it says win message. So now we can go over to the game and continue with our coding. So you see the sprite here displaying here. So for this sprite, we would like one for when flag is clicked. We want it to hide. Then would want it to wait until something happens. So we'll take this equality operator and want it to wait until, let's assume that a complete round in this game you would at least score 5 points consecutively, like 5 points without the ball falling through to the red line. So we'll want this you've won message to be displayed when your points is equal to 5 or 6 or whatever value or number you choose to use. So once points, your total number of points consecutively is equal to 5, then this sprite should show itself. Show. Then it should end all the game. Okay, so let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exactly. Then it displays the message you won, and it stopped all the sprites. So the next thing will be to create the backdrop. Now we've used the sprites in one case, then let's use the backdrop for the second case where you lost the game. So we'll click on backdrop. You can either paint your backdrop, remember, or you upload one that you already have. So I've shown you how to paint a sprite. Now I'm going to upload a backdrop that I already have. I downloaded it and saved it in my system. I would select this game over and click on open. So it's importing the backdrop. Okay, so here we have our backdrop game over, and simply what we would like to happen is for when the ball gets past the paddle and touches the line, we want all of the game to stop and for this backdrop to come up. Let's rename it to what do we call it? Lose message. Okay, so let's edit this a little. There's no need adding extra text, or is there? No. Let's use game over. Only game over is cool. So we'll have to fill the background. We don't just want the background to be plain, so I'll select fill. I'll come here, select the kind of fill I want. Let me use this. So I'll select 2 colors, swap. Let me take purple, sorry, swap. And for this, let me take light pink, minor pink. Okay, let's see how this works. Game over. I'll click here to fill up these places, click here to fill it up, and here to fill it up. Game over. So this will be the outlook of our game over message. This is what it will display as. So we'll go back to the code and come to the ball. Remember that we wrote a code before for when the ball comes in contact with the line. So we'll go back to that code and include this backdrop. So when flag is clicked, if the ball is touching the line, then switch backdrop to lose message. This backdrop that we created called lose message, and then stop all sprites. Okay, so if we are going to switch the backdrop to lose message, it means that we have to preset the backdrop. So we'll say for when flag is clicked, set backdrop to backdrop 1. So backdrop 1 is the main background for the game, and it should always be the background, the first background to appear when we click the flag to begin the game. But then when the ball falls through and comes in contact with the red line, then switch this background to display the message you lose, or to display the message game over rather, and then stop all the game, stop every sprite from working. Whenever you click on this flag again, you resume with the initial backdrop. But when the ball falls through and comes to the red line, the backdrop, because this backdrop is what we are using to display the end of game or game over message, so it will switch to this backdrop that has the message. If it is for a case where you won the game, it will switch to this sprite that has the message. So let's play now and see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you won. Okay, let's check for a case where you lose. 1, 2, 3, game over. I think this is very cool. I don't think there's anything you would want to add And there is no limitation to how you design your backdrop or whichever one you use. Just do whatever you feel cool with, whatever you're very okay with. You can actually even hide the sprites if you want to by the end of the game, if you don't want them displaying with game over. But I think it's cool this way, seeing that the ball actually fell through and it's touching the line, and you get your game over points. And for when you win, 1 2 3 4 and 5, you won. So guys, that's the end of today's session. You can add this message or any of the messages or any message at all you like to any game you're coding or any program you're writing, not just necessarily to this particular one. So you can code any game of your choice and include this kind of messages however you want them, whatever design you feel okay with, and let's see what you were able to